Welcome to Brand Out, the podcast where we break down popular brands for better or for worse. I'm your surprise host for today, Casey Lambert, the marketing director here at AZEE Branding Solutions, and I've got a special surprise guest. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to former NBA cheerleader, former NFL cheerleader, professional choreographer, my baby mama, and fiancée, Cortney Millar. Cortney, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's quite the introduction there.
Well, you are quite an amazing person, so I'm excited to have you here. Cortney is with me today because of what we're covering for today's topic, which is Love is Blind, but Netflix can definitely see dollar signs. This podcast is going to be all about the branding behind trash TV at its finest, Netflix's Love is Blind, and every other show that is associated with it. So, Cortney, how often do we watch Love is Blind and other trash TV shows?
Ooh, any chance we get, which with the three kids isn't often, but I would say at least 3 times a week. Sometimes if it's a Sunday, we just watch the whole stream of them at once and get caught up. But we're big fans for sure.
Yeah, we are definitely trash TV viewers en masse. And I guess just kind of intro to the podcast here. What is it about these trash reality TV shows, especially the ones rooted in romance, that attract people like us so well?
Honestly, I think a lot of it is the messiness of the show, and you get pulled into the drama, and it's almost a release and a way to take yourself out of your own mind and throw it into theirs, and it makes you feel a little better about your own life because of everything that you see them going through. So
very valid
sucks
points.
You in, yeah.
But being as this is Brand Out, we're really going to dive into the brand behind shows like Love is Blind. So let's set the table with reality TV here in general, right? Reality TV it's a product, right? It's a show, it's entertainment, it's a product on which a network can sell advertising or other affiliates that makes them money. So it's basically designed to get ratings. Ipso facto, it is a brand, and a brand that has been copied ever since our first favorite reality show, MTV's Road Rules, right? Or Real World. Like, I'm talking 1992.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Road Rules.
Oh yeah, it's such a great model that MTV had there.
I preferred that over the Real World, actually.
So were you like a big fan of reality TV back in the day?
Oh yeah, all the MTV ones. Yep.
For sure.
So I guess it's been a long time that I've been into them.
Yeah. So like that kind of started, and then reality TV took a real big shift. You know, you had Real World and Road Rules, and then you had Survivor, but then it kind of took a romance shift, and that really started with The Bachelor in 2002.
Big Bachelor fan.
Right. So then we had Bachelor, and then we had the celebrity dating shows like Rock of Love, or what's it, Shot at Love with Tila Tequila.
Oh, Tila Tequila.
All of those ones, and most of them are Viacom territories. But then Netflix kind of got into the game more recently with dating shows, and they all fall under the same production company, with the root show being Love is Blind. So, babe, I know we've watched plenty of them. Like, is there any other reality TV shows on Netflix that are dating based that step out to you?
Especially when it comes to the similarities, I would say Love Island, The Temptation Island, I think it is. All of those shows seem to be produced and guided the same way.
You bring up a really good point here with like produced. Right. So we as reality TV viewers, especially the trashy kind of expect there to be drama.
Yep.
You know, and it's like something that we're accustomed to via Keeping Up with the Kardashians and these celebrity dating shows that we had mentioned. So we kind of expect that. So I've got a couple questions for you regarding that. What do you think it is about messy, trashy reality TV dating shows that connect so deeply with people?
Well, like I said, the messiness for sure. But when it comes to the production, I think they do a very good job at almost leading the people on the show or misguiding them, for lack of better words, to say or act or do a certain thing. And then there's the editing also. So they have a way of telling a story with it that connects to their audience that may or may not be what actually happened, but that's how they want it to look and how they want you to perceive it. So they've definitely got that down.
Oh yeah, for sure. And do you think like there's a stark contrast? Do you think there's a stark contrast between what you would consider to be like the trashy TV versus like your highbrow reality TV shows like the Great British Bake Off or like Netflix's Halloween Bake Off?
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, I think a lot of the people on the highbrow ones, the judges and whatnot, are already very established. They don't have that need for the attention and the fame. And the ones on the trashy shows, that's what they feed off of. And that's why even after the show, you see the couples staying with couples that were on the show, or the dramatic conversations and all of that, because they're clinging onto that fame. So I feel like they gain a lot more popularity that way through social media and everything. But I don't want to say trashy versus classy, but
spade to spade. I mean,
entertainment sells, so that's what we veer towards.
Yeah, and like you introduced me to other highbrow reality shows like So You Can Think You Can Dance, which I've obviously become a fan of, and you are a fan of. I would ask this: is there any other like reality TV show that you've watched in the past that you are embarrassed that you watched?
Oh my gosh. What was that dating one on MTV? Eliminate, where they would get off the bus.
Oh,
do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I loved that show for some reason, and it was the cheesiest, most awfully produced show. That's definitely the most embarrassing one. I think it was we're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah. Luckily, we have a fantastic podcast editor named Micah who's going to put that name of the show right on the screen.
Oh my gosh.
So we don't have to remember it, which is nice.
Jersey Shore would be another one too. Kardashians, ones like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
They weren't my favorite, but you get caught every once in a while getting sucked into them.
Well, there's three things in life: gym, tan, and laundry, babe. And GTL.
And then there's Snooki.
Oh, jeez.
She's done well for herself.
Yeah, she has. So the next kind of talking point I have is the branding behind actual Love is Blind. So as you guys have probably noticed, our studio is a little pink here. Homeboys wearing pink, homegirls wearing pink and looking fly. But Netflix kind of created a different formula with the brand by engineering it for virality, right? So we talked about the old school dating shows, the celebrity dating shows, the ones from the early 2000s. We didn't have the social media virality then that we do now. Mm-hmm. So it really has kind of become engineered for not just the 45-minute to an hour episodes that we're seeing. It's more so the clips that stem off of it, the way people have their conversations online with their following. I mean, as soon as they released the first 6 episodes of Love is Blind season 8 in Minneapolis, the internet was abuzz with, Joey's golden retriever energy
Joey.
Or Madison's bad girl attitude. So do you think that has kind of fueled this really almost cult-like following to Love is Blind?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that the people on the show play into that even after the show and kind of play that role, because not only does it keep the story going, but it keeps them going viral and keeps them successful. So, they can hang on to the fame that way, even though it may not necessarily be who they are as a person. That's what sells, and that's what gets the followers and gets the comments going. So
interesting. So you're almost saying like these people, no matter what they were coming into the pods, are developing characters based off of how the show was edited and how it makes them look?
Yes. I do believe that to an extent. Yes. And sometimes I feel like that has a lot to do with how it's produced also. And then they have to backpedal after the show, kind of like the Lauren situation, for example. She really didn't do anything wrong. And then there was so much that got thrown into that she had to stand up for herself and, really prove what her character was, because she shouldn't have had to, but it's in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because
fans and what they say.
You get you get like the episodes, and the filming schedule is really kind of different, right? They film the show in its entirety, and then while the show is being produced, there's that latency period where everybody has NDAs, and then we get the reunion show after everybody on the show has gotten a chance to see how they were edited or produced, and then the fireworks really start to fly. So you essentially get this massive fallout after the reunion. Of course, the reunion is happening while they're filming the next season. So cyclically, you're really getting this well-produced, well-oiled social media virality machine from Love is Blind.
That's a good point. They have it timed out very well. Right. Even with like when they release the seasons and then leaving you hanging on at certain points and then releasing another bunch of episodes.
And it goes back to like visual storytelling, right? So in reality, things happen as they happen, right? You and I are sitting here having this conversation, but 2 days from now, Mike is going to edit it to make it a little bit more polished in order to tell a story that we're looking to tell. Right. And I think that's where these guys are absolute experts in branding. Like one thing that, I mean, it's kind of become a joke now on the show, but they have this solid gold, like wine glasses.
The glasses that they drink out of, yep.
So that people can't tell the order of which things were shot. So they can really tell any story by changing the timing of things. And it's like, it seems very subtle, and it seems almost like, I don't know, like bad. Like it's just like
manipulating.
Rude. Yeah, manipulating. Great word, babe. But like that kind of stuff really allows them to have the freedom in storytelling.
It's true.
Yeah.
And them going into it, they know that the production people can do that, for lack of better words. Production
people
edit it however they want. So they sign off on it, you know. It's not like they don't know what they're getting into. Right. Even though they're so good at it that they may be able to manipulate it in a way that's not expected. That's what their goal is, like you said, to tell the story. So I definitely think they do a good job doing that.
Yeah. So I guess with that said, like, what do you think has been one of the best decisions Netflix has made from a branding perspective to really push Love is Blind? Is it the editing? Is it the storytelling? Is it the cyclical filming of episodes? Like, what in your mind as a woman who's sitting there watching trash TV with her fiance after the kids hopefully went to bed, like what is the biggest decision that they made?
I definitely think the cyclical aspect has a lot to do with it because it keeps you from getting bored or the show becoming too redundant. And also the cast that they pick, they keep it very widely, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a diverse.
Yes, thank you. A diverse group of people, and it's easy to relate to at least a few of the people for each season. Yeah. But then they have those similarities too, so you know what to expect, and you know that they're going to start off in the pod and what the pods are going to look like, and you know you kind of have the storyline of what to expect. So it's easy to catch up, but it also keeps you interested. So I would say that's the main thing.
Good. Off the cuff question that I just thought about.
Oh, geez.
From this last season, season 8, which one of the guys would you associate me with?
I don't want to say Joey, but I feel like you have the golden retriever like energy for sure.
That makes sense.
Always excited. Yeah.
I was hoping you would pick Joey and not Dave.
Well-rounded. No, not Dave.
But speaking of Dave, I would probably closely associate you with Lauren in the fact that like she's smart, has her head put on in the right way, doesn't take crap from anybody, and like if she is accused of certain things, will defend herself with a litany of evidence behind her, and she just kind of misunderstood.
That's a very good description.
It's almost like I know you.
Good comparison. You know me well, babe.
Yeah.
But yeah, headstrong and knows her character and knows who she is and doesn't necessarily feel the need to put that out there and, you know, make it known. But if it comes down to that and it's one of those things where her character is being questioned, then yes, absolutely.
Would you think, like, would this have the same sort of following if it was just like a weekly episodic TV show? Or do you think there's an advantage to them releasing episodes in bulk to get you invested before they start to trickle them out?
Definitely an advantage because I feel like people would get bored with it or miss the week. And when they do it in the bunch of episodes, then you can have those sprees where you sit down and you watch them all, and then you almost don't realize that it's going to end, and then it's the last episode and you're like, oh no, what happens next? And then they leave you hanging. So that, yeah, I definitely think that works best.
What happens next? 90% of the couples don't get married. That's what happens next, right?
Yeah, and then they date someone else or hate each other or become girl besties.
Oh, the ever popular girl besties.
Lots of things they can get out of the show, at least.
For sure. And I mean, that's exactly what we're saying. It's not just a show. It's a media machine that hooks us at every freaking level, which kind of brings up the point, like, why is Love is Blind and other trash TV shows so personal? You know, people get emotionally invested in these shows, and I can't tell you how many people pop up on my TikTok and they're absolutely furious, or they're super rooting for Lauren to get a revenge on Dave. It's something that's kind of related to the parasocial effect. Like, we feel like we know these people personally from watching their story unfold on TV. Even though they're strangers, like, we kind of develop this internet fueled obsession with these individual people. And then, you know, you see, like I mentioned, we see TikToks, we see Instagrams, we see Twitter debates. Like, people are doing literal whole podcasts on this stuff where the only subject is reviewing the Love is Blind episode and driving drama. So, like, do you think people connect more with reality TV stars than actual celebrities at this point?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's on a more personal level, like you said, and it's something that, even though you may not be experiencing it in your everyday life, it's somebody that you may know in person, or it's like that similar feeling, you know what I mean? Which I think is why a lot of people become invested. Or if it's one of those romantic situations that plays out, maybe you can't actually go through that in your real life. So you can watch it unfold on TV and invest yourself that way, you know, almost like a release. And that always pulls you closer to people and makes you feel that connection.
Yeah. So it's like a disassociation from reality, but also living vicariously through an ordinary person, rather than, you know, trying to relate your life to Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter.
Exactly. Way more relatable.
Interesting. What do you think is like the most unhinged reality TV moment that made you yell at the screen or made you feel an emotional reaction from the storytelling?
Whew. That's
a
tough
question,
one.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's just go with Love is Blind. Like, we've watched 8 seasons of Love is Blind all over the place. Couples that ended up married together, couples who split up in a fiery rage, whether it be before the altar or at the altar. What's the one Love is Blind moment where you were just like, WTF, mate?
Honestly, I thought that Devin and Virginia, that's the two that were together, right? Yeah. I thought they were going to get married. And I was very shocked because they didn't really show anything saying otherwise. And it was coming down to, I don't want to say minute things, but things that they had discussed, and they made it seem like, you know, they were on the same page. And then all of a sudden, out of left field, it was just like, oh, nope, not doing it. And kind of broke his heart. So, yeah.
Are you sure it was that, or the fact that Virginia had the personality of an unpolished boot? Thank you.
It could be both. Maybe he got bored. But that was kind of out of left field, like I said. So with the Love is Blind, that was a big one.
So last question on this portion, and then we'll move on to like the business of reality TV is, would you say, why do people love watching other people's relationships fall apart on TV?
That sense of you're not alone feeling. Because whether you're in a happy relationship or you're not at the time, everyone's been through it. So it's kind of like seeing the people that they paint as perfect with, you know, because yes, it's Love is Blind, but if you look at the cast, most of them are pretty decent looking. And, you know, they paint them out to be these very well-established, successful, yet normal people. And then they fall apart. And so it makes you feel a little bit better about that, knowing that like they go through it too, you know?
Right. And I mean, let's face it, everybody has a sister that nobody's ever met and they talk about constantly.
That was actually going to be my other one, going back to the angry thing, was the fact that we never even saw Dave's sister and that whole situation as it dragged out. But it was like a slow burn that got more and more infuriating for Lauren, especially.
I think one of my favorite TikToks I saw was just somebody cut up and compiled all of the times Dave mentioned his sister.
Oh my gosh, my sister. My sister.
My sister.
I'm questioning this sister at this point. I think we need to see her.
I don't know. We'll have to do some like social media deep dive to try to find Dave's sister.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah.
But I mean,
that was a situation.
Yeah. And here we are. Like I'm trying to keep this podcast on track about the brand and the business of reality TV and Love is Blind. But we get off on these tangents about individual people and their relationships and even people we don't see on screen. Like that is so great of a job by Netflix to hook us into that.
It's true.
Like it's insane.
I don't even look at myself as one of those people that gets emotionally invested in these shows. As you know, I'm usually pretty passive and like kind of realistic with it. Like, oh, it's just a show, but clearly I am. So
well, it's either that or you have a crying toddler or baby attached to you. So
distracted.
So yeah. we're gonna bring it on home here in a little bit, but we want to talk about the business of trash TV. If you think about it, really, reality TV is cheap to make. You know, these people aren't getting paid much. Your production crews are only there for a short amount of time. There's not a ton in post-production other than what your editors are cutting together storytelling wise, but it is insanely profitable. I mean, how many seasons is Survivor on now at this point? How many seasons is The Bachelor on at this point? And we continue to come back to the same formula because it's cheap but profitable. So, like, obviously we know there's no CGI. The actors are low paid, right? You don't have like a monthly Actually, that's a different topic. But like people binge it. You produce another season, and it's cyclical, and it's cyclical, and it's cyclical, and it works. So do you think in this model, right, from a business perspective where it's cheap production cost, do you think that the people on these reality shows are really getting screwed over financially? Or do you think that they are encouraged to make bank outside of the show based on their show fame?
That's a good question. I don't think that they're profited on the show, but I honestly don't think that they go into it for those reasons either, necessarily for the money. It's more so the fame, which if you have the fame and you have the connections and the networking ability, then the money will come in most situations in one way or another. So I think that they do a really good job at keeping their costs low, but building up the brand and building up those characters so they can have that success if they decide to and, you know, put the work in. But they already have that platform to do so just by going on the show. So I think that they kind of choose going into it, that it's not about the money, more so the fame that they can get, which they can then build off of. Yeah. Which kind of works out for both of them, if you think about it.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me think of I think the greatest example is somebody who parlayed their reality TV fame into a career was Real World star Mike Mizanin, better known as The Miz in WWE, right? He crafted his whole character on the Real World of you guys watch. I'm going to be famous someday. I'm going to be in the WWE, and the dude has lasted almost a 20-year career now.
Yep,
and gotten his own reality shows with his wife Marie. It's amazing if somebody has these goals in mind for growth of their own personal brand, how reality TV can be a launching off point for them.
It's a huge platform that they can use.
Like the one Richard guy on Survivor.
Richard.
Like, yeah.
I loved Richard.
Yeah, like just launched himself into stardom from being, in unequivocal butthead on the show. It was on brand for him. He kept that character throughout the show he's been on a few seasons now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but he kept that character and really built his brand based on it. So I think, yeah, from a personal branding standpoint, a lot of these people now see dollar signs in being on reality TV, not from their paycheck, but from everything that stems further beyond that.
The benefits of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, obviously, having been in the NFL and in the NBA, there's different things that you get stemmed off of that. Because, like, I know you do a lot of choreography work now, and because your resume is built up from being with the Pistons and being with the Lions, Is that something that you continue to leverage clout from? I mean, obviously along with your great skill, but is that something that has helped launch you into a career betterment?
Yes, absolutely. Having that on the resume alone, like you said, is huge. But even when I was in the NBA and the NFL on the dance teams, there were so many benefits that came out of that and the experiences that made it worth it. Like the dance classes and the choreographers that we got to work with, and then auditioning for the movie and all of those things that not necessarily were about the money, but more or less building my career in, getting better at it. So then I can, once I'm done, use that. And yeah, it definitely helped with the success aspect for sure.
Great. So the Cortney brand was escalated by the association of being in these performance avenues.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Good. No, I absolutely love that.
And it helped build the public relations side as well, which a lot of people don't realize. And I have Rebecca, my amazing coach, to thank for that. But there's seminars and so much training behind the scenes that's not just dance based. So even for moments like this, they prepare you for those things. And that really helps kind of fuel your success with that. So
right.
It's huge. Yeah. And it's all connected in a way, which is weird too.
All right. So we're going to end this show by firing off a few rapid fire questions that are meant to be fun and lighthearted. So answer however you answer. I'm not going to judge you when we get home later. Ready for rapid fire questions?
Ready.
All right. Rapid fire questions. Let's go. Babe, if Netflix offered us a deal for our own reality show, what would it be called?
Chaos of Courtney and Casey.
That's a good one. Okay. So would you rather go on Love is Blind or The Bachelor?
Oh, Love is Blind.
All right. Considering all reality TV, what is the most ridiculous reality TV moment you've ever seen?
Can I pass on any of these?
No, you can't.
For some reason, I think that it would involve Tila Tequila.
Oh.
Now that we mentioned her.
You know what?
Or something with Snooki and Jersey Shore and police would be involved.
Shot at Love with Tila Tequila when she kicked the elementary school teacher off the show and he stood on the front store yelling, Tila!
See? I knew it.
That
it was there. So
either that
thank you
or
for finishing my thought.
The Sammy's big toe incident on Jersey Shore. Like, Ron, why'd you have to make fun of my big toe?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh, such a great one. Okay.
Definitely the Tila Tequila one.
If we had to compete on a reality TV show together as a couple, which one would it be and would we win?
The minute to win it type ones.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
We'd be good at that.
Yeah, we could pick which tasks we do because we're good at different things.
Right. I actually think we
usually
do
gets
well.
Us pretty far.
I think we do well in Perfect Match.
That would be a good one too.
Yeah, we'd be a good couple on that.
See, in my head, it's like we're going into that cheating.
Nah, we'd be good, right? Right. So I mean that's pretty much it. To wrap it up, are there any final thoughts you have on the success of Love is Blind and other trash TV shows and how our culture is absorbing it from a brand perspective, babe?
Final thoughts, not necessarily. I guess I just didn't realize how connected to the brand and brand driven it was until you kind of laid it out for me. And then you think back on all the shows and realize just how connected they are and how well played it is and how well thought out, So there's a lot behind it and a lot that goes into it that you don't think about, but that's why you keep watching for sure.
Yeah, a perfect lead into my final thoughts. And to take a page from a reality TV great, Jerry Springer, here are my final thoughts. Reality TV isn't just entertainment. It's a brand and it's a business. A highly profitable, cheap to produce business and brand that has been captivating the entire world since 1992. It's a business model that will continue to be used by networks to drive revenue. So, social experiment Love is Blind or a cash cow? You make the choice. This has been Brand Out, talking about Love is Blind. If you guys like the episode, hit a like. If you guys want to discuss things in the comments, we'll both be there, and we'd love to hear about it. And how excited are we about season 9 coming up with Love is Blind? Can't wait for it.
So
Super
pumped.
excited about it. Courtney, thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm sure we'll have you back in some capacity on another episode.
Thanks for having me. That was fun. Bye, guys.
Brand Out.
If you enjoyed this content, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We want to connect with you. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let us know what brands you want us to break down next. Follow us on social media for more branding insights, and remember, keep building, keep branding, and always brand out.